Hello and welcome. Today is Thursday morning. The birds are chirping, the sun is out, there's a nice spring breeze in the air, and today is like rainbow pebble day of fun inspiration. And I don't know if you ever get a shot of adrenaline trying to doing a project at the last minute, but we sure do, and we have a good time. So the Fabric Fairies are working on one more project. They have actually two on their list, but we have a couple new things that we've curated fresh and hot this morning, never been done before. And that's why this is so fun, because it's the 7 days of spring. So I'm Anna Rose White, and we are Beehive Quilt Shop. We're a quilt shop toy store in Wellington, Kansas. We're just north of Oklahoma and south of Wichita. And we just have way too much fun here. So we have lots of cool projects today. Yesterday we met with our Riley Blake rep, Cindy, and we had a great time. And there's some, really cool things that are in the works there, but it's also part of our inspiration for today. So we are almost the proud recipients of all 300 of the new colors of Riley Blake's Confetti Cotton series. And Confetti Cottons is just the brand or the name of Riley Blake solids. We've always had their, we bought their entire collection of solids when we very first opened, and before we opened, so that would have been really 8 or 9 years ago. Oh, wow. We bought the entire, their solid fabrics, and so when Riley Blake told us, it's totally in competition with Robert Kaufman, but Robert Kaufman has always had 300 colors of Kona cottons, and although Kona is fine, we love Confetti Cottons the most. It's one of our very favorite brands. And when they said that they were coming up with 300 colors, that just made us just decide that we really wanted to have all 300 of them, because we are big fans of solid fabrics, and I'm a big fan of also having a different background color to a quilt other than white, although I do love my low volumes. And so I love how many different colors of solid fabrics that there are in this collection. In a couple weeks, we're going to get our last shipment of the 300, and it's just very exciting. But this is their fancy new color card for us, but it's just very exciting. So Confetti Cottons is the name to search for the solid fabrics from Riley Blake, but the hand to them, the feel, their color lastingness is really good. So it's just fun, and it was the inspiration for one of our surprise bundles today that has never existed before, which is a rainbow solid pack. This has 10 fat quarters in it, and it is just a beautiful rainbow. The online picture it does do it justice because it photographs so beautifully. But this is the rainbow solid 10 fat quarter bundle. We have it on sale for $24.99. That's just $2.50 a fat quarter. This is what the beautiful remnants of it look like. Those are some of the little strings, but this is a great deal. We also have, it'll be coming in, I almost said the name of a by Annie bag pattern, which is called Hot and Heavy, but it's going to be coming in fresh as a fabric fairy really soon. It'll be delivered to us, but we have a rainbow Kaffe fat quarter bundle and a rainbow designer solids, which is Tula pink solids. That's also going to be on today's list. So if you know what those are, however it is going to be beautiful, but highly recommend it. And Mom has it at a great, great price. This next one, it just was so inspiring last night. It made me wake up this morning and make blueberry lemon scones and some chocolate chip muffins, because I forgot my oldest doesn't love blueberries. So I, of course, had to make chocolate chip muffins as well, because I also need that. But these are chip clips, not cookies, that we're selling for today. So the chip clips, Desiree's going to give you an up close and beautiful selection, but we have the Boogie Bites, which are disco ball shaped chip clips. But again, they're not just for chips, they're for bags of cookies and other fun things. We have Space Cosmic Joy, and then we also have these really snarky one called In Stitches. And then if you really want a deal and you'll let us pick for you, you can save an additional $1 and we will get you a mystery chip clip set from Fred and Friends. So same quality, same shape, also will go on a bag of cookies super well, but you can save an extra $1 just by letting us choose for you, because we like that. The next thing, this is genuinely one of my favorite things that we have, but I'm a Laura Heine collage teacher, and so we do lots with number 2 pencils, and it's one of the, very important tools in collaging because of tracing your pattern, tracing your templates, tracing the shape, and I should have brought mine, but it is in use in my quilt room. So I have a dull pencil here. It's actually from a friend of mine, must have picked it up. It's from Prairie Flower Crafts in Alden, Kansas, which is another great quilt shop. So we'll do a little advertisement there for Prairie Flower Crafts. They have their own number 2 pencils, which is cool. But these it's just a mobile sharpener. So what I like about it is it opens up and there's 3 sizes for your pencils. And so whether you're a colored pencil person or a big chunky pencil person, all of those options are there. And there's a bunch of mystery colors. So there's 5 different colors. There's pink, green, blue, black, and red. And pink and green happen to be 2 of my favorite colors. So this is why I'm showing you them. But they're just, it's adorable. It's functional. It's great for kids. It's great for you. It's great to have in your junk drawer. And it's colorful, so you're not going to lose it like the weird black ones or gray ones that come in a box that just have sharp edges. It's just beautiful, beautifully designed, bright and colorful. Great for your collage kit to go. And if you buy them in bulk, and by bulk I mean if you want 3 of them, you will get a deal on them. So I would definitely recommend getting 3. We will default to mystery colors for this one, but we'll make sure it's a fun variety pack. But we love the colored pencils. Our next one also has to do from the same company, OOLY. So they just have great design. They just do. But I actually found this brand when I was on vacation in Estes Park. We were visiting my husband's aunt, Aunt Pat, and we were in a bookshop. And they had this great little gift shop section. And they had like journals and like kids craft activities and stationery and beautiful wrapping paper and very expensive cards that are hand done that I just loved looking at. But anyway, I went ahead and bought Stella, I think she was 3 at the time, one of these paint pods. And then we went back and we were in the mountains and she got to color with her watercolors as a cute 3-year-old. And then I got to color with them and I just thought they were the best thing ever. So when we got back, I think it took me about a year to remember it. I just had to do it. And we started carrying them and we've just continued to build our collection. And now we have 2 great displays of their products, but they work for so many different types of arts and crafts. And I've always been like a good Crayola girl for a long time. But OOLY is just a notch above. It is a notch above. So, but a lot of these things are labeled for 3+. Obviously, 2-year-olds can have lots of fun watercoloring as well. But I personally love this palette. It has, I already 36. Forgot. 36 magical colors. You don't even have to blend them, and they're just beautiful. The plastic hardware for this is really well made. It snaps together. It's very thick and sturdy. It's just, I can't say enough good things about it, but they have great they have great everything. So the ones I featured today is the watercolors. We also have the chunky marker pens, and by marker pens, I mean they're paint sticks. But what these really are is they're in little tubes. It's like an Elmer glue stick, and the contents inside is kind of like a glue stick, but it is like an oil crayon. And so they call them officially as a paint stick, but they're easy to use. There's no brush or water needed, so it's already at a good consistency. They have neon and metallic colors, which I will vouch for, and it's quick drying, but it is just like, it just glides onto the material, like the texture of it. It's just extremely satisfying. And the container it's in, it really is meant for it's meant for great storage. Those will be a little bit out of order, but they, we talked a lot about Roy G. Biv this morning. I don't know if you know our good friend Roy G. Biv. If you don't, that's totally fine. Oh, I think I could get these almost matched up, but they totally have neon colors. We're gonna get this. It's probably actually not how they quite had it merchandised. But Roy G. Biv is the color of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, or indigo, violet. I might have skipped one of those. But anyway, it's an acronym to remember the order of a rainbow. But as you can see, they're in little glue stick, and they're amazing. I love them. I've personally bought them several times because I think my daughter was given one of these for a birthday present, and she totally used it like all the time coloring. And I think within 3 months we bought her another set just because like that's how much it was like her go-to thing. And we all know that kids and adults need more sensory activities. So that's definitely going to be a different experience. And you don't have to press as hard as like a Crayola. And you may not think that like little kids and pressing hard is difficult, but a lot of kids still are working on their finger muscles and their grip. And so it's really helpful to give them a variety of things so they can feel successful coloring while they're building up their hand strength. And anyway, just a thing. These next ones are Rainbow Sparkle Watercolor Gel Crayons, which Stella does not have yet, or Maribel. But this is a cool new one that we got when we expanded our selection of beautiful things. But I know from their other gel crayons, it's kind of similar to these paint sticks. It's meant for a slightly older kiddo because it is more of a long stick format. But it's just gonna glide on the paper, and it's just an experience. I can't tell you how great it is until you try it out. But these sparkle. So again, it doesn't even matter how cool they are. They're gel crayons, but they're metallic, which is amazing. So I think that's quite wonderful myself. And then these ones are just borderline life-changing. So just like how we love colored pencil or normal pencils and that they're erasable, these are erasable colored pencils. And they're erasable. They're erasable. How many times have you used a colored pencil and you haven't been able to erase it? These are erasable. So that's just something for, you know, maybe again, that older kiddo that really is learning to color in the lines and work on more of those skills. But I just think that's pretty cool. And I like that they call it unmistakable, because, you know, there are no mistakes. There's only happy accidents, as Bob Ross has told us. So that's just something to keep in mind. And yes, it's just very important. So this next one segues into our next project, but this is, I was waving this around when we first started, but this is a 500-piece puzzle. It's called Sugar Spectrum. And what I really love about this puzzle is that it is like my dream of what a color melt quilt is. And so like this is a term like in my head, like I know of just like anything, but a lot of people might not have heard the word color melt before. And so you can either think about it like a bunch of crayons that are getting heat and they're melting together, or they're kind of blending as they go. And so plus it's kind of has this like ombre effect to it. So as you can see here, there's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, violet, pink, and then it kind of fades into the lightness in the center. And so it's a very visually appealing, it's very satisfying to look at because of how the colors have been arranged. And so regardless of what you think of like color wheels or how much time you spend thinking about color, organizing things in this way is really nice. And I have done this kind of color melt technique before with a piece quilt that I'm working on. But this is also something that I used kind of as my inspiration for my Seaglass quilt. So this is something that's been swimming in my head a bunch, really for years. But there's a fun lady on Instagram called Extremely Tired Octopus, and she has done several different sew-alongs that are Seaglass themed. And she's got a class. I've never taken her class before, but I have just always admired what she's made. And so I wanted to do my version of her thing, but with the thoughts that I had. And so I made this kind of a color melt version of myself. And so it is not exactly like this by any means, but you can kind of see, hopefully, a little bit about how that works together. And so these pebble shapes are something that's really fun. I put some hidden hearts in it. I have a little starfish. I have a blank space that I still want to do some other free motion things with. But I did a little bit of trapunto with this, and because of how densely I quilted the free motion pebbles, it kind of makes the pebbles pop a little bit. As you can see, I haven't trimmed this project yet, but I did make this project on the Avenir, which is the new top of the line sewing and embroidery machine from Brother. I didn't actually plan this out, but it does happen to work out. But anyway, free motion quilting is a mode that your sewing machine can go on, where your feed dogs drop and you can freely move your project and the needle stays constantly, moving up and down. It's not, it doesn't have a stitch, or most free motion quilting machines don't have stitch regulators. The Avenir does. And so I was able to use my stitch regulator for the first time and have really even, nice stitches. And so that was just a dream of mine. If you love this print, the name is escaping me, but it is some kind of an ombre from Northcott. and maybe we'll link that later. But anyway, it's just, I love it, and I just had a lot of fun doing it, and it was great muscle memory. We're going to make a different video about this another time with some other different skills. But the big thing about this is that when you go to do this project, I did use Seam a Seam too, but because I was a little intimidated and was overthinking rocks and pebbles, I didn't want my pebbles to be too jagged, and I just wasn't sure like how I was going to get that organic shape or get enough variety. And so I worked with this great couple that we have here in town, and they have a laser cutting machine, and so I gave them a template of what I wanted, and I said, can you make these pebbles and make a shape that's like 12 by 12 inches, and so that I can, Mom has just been busy. Mom is also known as the fabric fairy. She's already off to the next thing, whatever she's doing. I wish you could have just seen what she just did with her arms and her hips. That was hilarious. But you can't see how she walked out of the room. It was just too funny. But anyway, so I had them make this pebble template that has all these different shapes. And the best part is I didn't get just the outside, but our pebble template comes with all of the individual loose shapes that are the pebbles that are from the inside, which I love because it really gives you a lot of options when you're fussy cutting things. And so again, this is what I did, but I have my scraps are sorted in rainbow bags. We've got the picture of my basket system. It's actually linked to the Seaglass template. So if you go on our website, but this is a 3-yard roll of Seam a Seam 2. I can't remember if we put a 3-yard roll on, we put a 4-yard roll on, which is way more fun. But I'm going to show you a tiny bit maybe of how I use this template. So Desiree might get she'll see if we need to change our angle. This is clear, so it's a little hard to see. But what I do when I make this template is you just kind of play this like nesting game. And so I just take some of these different template shapes, and they're somewhat nested on the board, but it's kind of a really great thing to do for, like, some people have really great, what is it called, spatial recognition skills, and some people don't. But I have simply taken this template and get a couple shapes on here. And so I simply go through my Seam a Seam 2, and I draw those pebble shapes as nested together as I can. And then what I do, because I am a creative person, is I go through and I do add some more of my own free motion shapes that are to it. And you can draw things like hearts or other different emblems. And then what I've done, because of my scrap system, is I have a tub of 6-inch squares and some 5-inch squares. And because this is a 12-inch product, I will go through and I will make myself a little 6-inch square of this. And then I'll take this entire square and I will either cut it apart like this, and I'll steam half, or I'll iron half of it on a scrap, or I'll do the entire square. And then I go through and I cut out my shapes like this with my perfect scissors or serrated scissors. And it gives everything a clean finished edge. And I just have found that process very enjoyable. It's very relaxing. When I'm going through and I'm cutting my fabric, I can just cut out a swatch, get it prepped, put it in my basket, and then when I have time or I'm in the car and I actually get to be the passenger instead of the driver, then I get to go through and cut out all my shapes and then have a nice stack of jewels. And then once I had enough of that built up, then I was able to start playing with the color and making this color melt. And it was very, very fun to do. And I used a color of grunge that to me looked like sand. And I just thought that was very appealing. So I'm looking forward to trying this at a bigger scale as well. But I have just found this project very satisfying, and it really helped me. Not that I'm a fearful person, but it helped me not worry about the sizes of my pebbles because I knew I had good ones to start with. And just the act of tracing different organic shapes made me a better shape tracer, if that is a skill. But that's something that, as a free motion applique person, it's a skill that I want to work on. So this one's a little bit started. If you prefer to have the one that I've started, you can. But this is a little 3-yard roll. Otherwise, I'm going to add to my stash of my Seam a Seam at home. But I just really like that project. So if enough of you are interested, I would love to teach a class on that. because it's free motion quilting and it's pebbles and it's scrap sorting and it's all my favorite things into one project. This next thing we're visiting about, I actually have the wrong brand in front of me, but we have Affinity, which is a variegated cotton thread from Glide. I'm holding, I'm holding Affinity. Harmony is what we're featuring today, but variegated thread from Glide is what we're going to be having on the special. And so it's a mystery variegated spool of variegated thread, but it's kind of for, you know, whether you're doing this, you're going to do other free motion quilting. It is just in the rainbow color world of inspiration, and you can have multiples, and then we'll pick you multiple colors of variegated thread.
Someone asked a question about using scan and cut.
Yes, you could totally use the scan and cut for this. You totally could. So whether you did this and ironed this on the back of a square, and then just you would have the fabric face down, and obviously you would scan the back side of your project, and then it would totally cut out those shapes. The rotary blade or the vinyl auto blade thing would work awesome to cut these out. It would be great. The whole point of using scissors is, like, you know, if you're in a car, you're trapped and you can't have your scan and cut plugged in while you're driving in a car as a passenger. So it can be a mobile project, but you could totally use your scan and cut to do this project. It's a great question. Great question. I just love it so much. I just take the rest of the day off and I'm just gonna work on my pebbles. That'll be my job today. But this other thing, because it's just so much fun, I swear it's on the table. Here's a Bitsy box. I had the Bitsy boxes. I buried them. Here they are. My other project that I just obsess over and think about all the time is the Bitsy box. So it's been a while since we talked about this, but the Bitsy box is one of my favorite patterns known to man. It's just the most adorable thing ever. It's made by a company called Bow to Bow Bags. And true story, once, I haven't got to meet her, but I met a lady who sat next to her at a quilt retreat in Texas. And she said she's a delightful person, and I totally believe her, because whoever could invent such a cute project has to be a delightful person. But the Bitsy box is super fun. Finished size, it makes a 2.5 by 2.5 square. But what I also like about this pattern is that it doesn't matter as long as you're working with some kind of a small rectangle, you're going to get an adorable project anyway. But what makes this go really fast together is you do just have the raw seams on the inside. They're zigzagged and straight stitched, but you don't have to worry about doing any interior binding in this bag because it's just super cute and little. This is done out of a fabric that's from a line called Mini Funfair, which is my mom and I's absolute favorite. But it's a line that's out of print that we have a touch left of. We have a few fat quarter bundles of it as well, but this is Mini Funfair, the Bitsy box. And I did quilt this with just total leftover scrap batting on the Brother Luminaire. This is can they see the stitching on there? Mm-hmm. This is a fill stitch that's in my design center on the Luminaire. And so it's really nice to do this project because you can just instantly put in, you want to, is it a 5 by 8 square? Well, 6 by 8, some kind of, and that's obviously rectangle, but you put in the shape of the piece you want quilted in the machine. And then you just dump the fill pattern in there. There's a paint bucket thing. And you just say, I want it to have this quilting pattern, and it will just quilt that size. And so even though quilting things on your own is very enjoyable, I really enjoy letting the machine do all the work. And I don't know why I don't just make one of these every day, but I have met people that have made like 80 and 100 of these before because they are that addictive. Our quilt bingo group with our altar society for St. Anthony, St. Rose, you may or may not know, but our community, Wellington, hosts a big quilt bingo. It's the last Sunday in September every year, and it is just the bee's knees. And I'm lucky enough to work with a bunch of the people that get to do it, but they make a bunch of these for rosary bags is what the group does. And so you can buy a Bitsy box and have a rosary in it, but you can also put Lego creatures in there, pills. I love to put my jewelry when I travel in the Bitsy box, but they're just adorable. This was my daughter's tooth fairy pillow, not this exact one. She has her own, and it doesn't even have teeth on it. It has Tula pink teacups on it. But that was Stella's, or it still is kind of. Aunt Pat also made her one, but that was Stella's tooth fairy pillow because it was a secure environment for the tooth, and it was a secure environment for her tooth fairy to leave all her goodies in there, which was cool. But this Bitsy Box pattern really does walk you through like some of the best photographs of making like each step-by-step thing. So if you've never made box corners or put in a zipper before, you can easily do that just by looking at her pattern. But my friend Jackie Clark made this and I'm just obsessed with it. But Jackie Clark, she lives up in the greater Wichita area. I don't know if she lives in proper Wichita or Andover, but Jackie is wonderful. She's really involved in the Prairie Rose Quilt Guild. That's the big quilt guild in Wichita, and she made this as kind of an inspiration. She's put her own, it's like Bitsy Box world size, but she does invent some of her own patterns too. So she has a little bit of binding kind of with her zipper tape, but I love her use of the tiny stripes. She has rainbow zipper tape, which is amazing. But what she did is she took her adorable little strings and slivers and leftover shenanigans, and she top stitched it onto the back. She doesn't even have batting in here. She just literally top stitched it to some fabric, and just went for it. And it is just tremendously adorable, and I love it. I love it so much. So Jackie Clark is a great inspiration, and you can make your own different modified versions of the Bitsy Box, but I can't say enough great things about how well this pattern is laid out and the photographs that are in there. It's just great. And then Mom threw in a perk. If you buy this pattern through our 7 days of spring, you're also going to get a D-ring, because you can add a D-ring to these little end tabs and make it as a keychain bag thing, and you can put, I said lipstick, I was thinking lipstick in my mind,
Chapstick.
but you can put lipstick or you can put chapstick in there. You can put whatever you want. We only recommend legal objects, of course, but you know, lipstick and chapstick are always safe to put in there, but you can just about have endless creativity with what you're going to put in there. Let's see here. And then last but not least, we have a couple of those fabric bundles from our Fabric Fairies and a couple more rainbow objects. We have rainbow clippies, which are great, especially for making small projects like this. It helps you hold some of your layers together, but you can get them in rainbow. You can get them in red. I'm so organized, I've lost things. But anyway, you can get them in rainbow, red, or this like highlighter neon green, or you can go big and get all three, and Mom has a deal in there. So as always, I would just recommend to go big or go home. But Mom always has good perks, so it's always fun to listen to Mom. This last notion we're featuring is also this really fun rainbow pack of orange peels, and I don't have one of these open here to show you, but you can buy this as a set of 4, a set of 12, or you can get 20. 20 is of course the best deal. But these are little silicone grippers, and they're great for putting over your spools of thread. So whether it's your glide, your affinity, or it's especially great for Aurifil. But they're helpful, and they're orange peels, and they never grow old. Oh, and we have Best Press. Gosh, we have just so many good things today. We have Best Press, but we are featuring Scent Free, because Scent Free is great. But we do have an extra perk if you get Peaches and Cream, because it is Mom and I's favorite. And, it's Peaches and Cream. So this, you can save, well, actually, they're both $8.99. So that's great. They're both on special. That's great. So they're both a little bit of incentive. They're normally $9.99, but you can save $1 by getting it through 7 days of spring. They're just great. And if you watch Desiree and Katie's day on day 2, they had Mr. bottles on there. So, hopefully you did day 2. If not, we'll do our best. And last but not least, the Fabric Fairies have made these magical rainbow things. So at the very beginning, we showed you the incredible Confetti Cottons 10-pack of solid rainbow. Then we have the incredible 10-pack of Mystery Kaffe Rainbow. I just can't help myself. I have to move. There we go. So we've got the light pink to the light purple, but it's just absolutely beautiful how this fades together. But 10 is really great. My Seaglass thing, I did have a bunch of different Kaffe scraps that are in here, and it really adds great texture, and they always do such a great job with the depth of color. Kaffe is he's just brilliant. If you follow Brandon Mabley Designs and Kaffe Facet on Facebook, you'll notice that they're in Poland right now, and it looks magical. So I can't wait to see what that turns into. But I'm hoping, maybe maybe when they travel. Sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's go to a museum. You never know. But this is a beautiful rainbow fat quarter bundle, and these are the designer solids from Tula Pink. She has probably like 30 colors.
Probably, yeah.
Easily, probably, but she is the designer of Unicorn Poop. She has Dragon's Breath, and then this is a rainbow version of some of her basics, of her basic rainbow that we have pulled together. So it's just beautiful. So I hope you have learned a little bit about the color melt strategy of organizing color. I hope you consider doing a 500-piece puzzle of beautiful candy, and consider getting one of these great rainbow things. But I hope you have a great Thursday. And we're going to go have blueberry scones with lemon because we can. So anyway, hopefully you have a great day. Goodbye.